Hello everyone, my name is Christina McIntyre and this is my presentation of my topic is virtual field trips and virtual museums. I hope you enjoy this presentation as much as I enjoy researching it. Hooray for field trips. I started this presentation thinking about field trips in general. Field trips are those trips that children get to take outside of the classroom, whether it be to the museum, to the zoo, or to a historical site. And they take these trips so that their learning experience can be deepened. Say, for instance, if the teacher is doing a lesson on dinosaur fossils, well, that teacher might plan a field trip to the museum, and that way that the students can see what a dinosaur fossil really is and get to touch it, maybe touch it, I'm not sure, touch it, feel it, see it, and actually relate that to what they're studying in the classroom versus just looking at a textbook and reading about it. They get to deepen their experiences when they get to take field trips. But we all know that real life field trips can sometimes be a hassle. Field trips take months of planning. They're time consuming. They take months of planning. You have to think about a location. You have to think about permission slips. You have to get parents' consent. And sometimes you have to ask for volunteers, because taking a third grade class or 30 student class to the zoo or to the museum can be tedious. So you have to have permission slips for parent consent, and you have to have extra help. Then you have to worry about safety issues when you take field trips. You have to worry about students getting lost or left on buses, which has happened quite a bit in years past. And then last but not least, you have to think about money. It costs money to take a field trip. You have to think about transportation, gas for transportation. Then you have to think about the money to pay for students to go to zoos and museums. So, and school budget cuts. Sometimes it's just not in the school's budget to take a field trip. But what if I could tell you that you could take a trip to the Amazon rainforest or visit the Arctic, or you could even go to the zoo or museum. You could go to the safari in Africa and even visit the deep blue sea. What if I told you you could do all of these things without leaving the classroom? Well, you wonder, what is the solution? How can I do that? The solution is virtual field trips and museums. I'm glad you asked. Okay? So virtual field trips and museums are field trips that can be taken through the use of the internet. Okay? Students can visit faraway places that would otherwise be too time consuming and costly. Just like I said in the previous slide, sometimes field trips are just not in the school's budget to go. So virtual field trips and virtual museums are a perfect alternative for field trips. Safety hazards are limited because students do not have to leave the classroom. They're safe in their own classroom, and they get to experience some of the same things that they would had they gone on an actual field trip. Students receive an increasingly amount of information because virtual field trips and museums can cover an enormous amount of topics than real life actual field trips could ever. Just like I said earlier, real life field trips are sometimes rare if they happen at all. And virtual field trips and museums cover so many more topics, and they can visit so many different more places versus if they went to a real life field trip, which could only mean they could go to the zoo or a museum or historical site. Next, I have found a video. Google launched a launched a something called Expeditions, where they actually bring virtual reality into the classroom. And I thought it was a really neat video to show you all. And I'm having some technical difficulties, so bear with me.
Anywhere in the world that you want to go, where would you want to go?
I would like to go to the moon,
Thailand,
ancient Greece,
India,
to Nigeria, my homeland.
one or maybe all of the 7 wonders of the world.
When you explore different places, you have the chance to actually learn something new.
You want to be able to show the kids that there's something outside of your community that you could go to and learn from, and that there's other places you can visit.
All right, so let's do our objective, and we'll talk about the lesson for today.
We're going to take a field trip to Verona, Italy, to see the place where Romeo and Juliet lived.
I'm going to take you on this field trip under the water. Okay, you guys ready? Pick up your devices
And look in your cardboard.
What is that?
I see a shark.
It allowed us to go somewhere we wouldn't normally be able to go. This is the Great Wall of China.
We got to see the place itself, so we could actually understand what she was talking about.
How long would it take to walk the length of the Great Wall of China?
So much more enriching than just showing them a picture or just having them read about it.
This device can actually make us go to places that we've never been before.
It brings the lesson to you, and you have to see it for yourself to believe it.
There's so much other places to see, so you know that it's never going to end.
Okay, so that was the video of Google bringing virtual reality into the classroom. I hope you enjoyed that video. It kind of showed you what virtual reality in the classroom actually looks like. So again, how can we use virtual field trips and museums in the classroom? Virtual field trips and museums can be used to teach a number of things: history, art, science, and much, much more. This first website that I'm going to show you is www.educationworld.com, and it is an awesome website. Very awesome website. So as you can see here, it has teacher essentials, administrators. It's things there for administrators. Lesson plans, technology, professional development, and it also has printable templates. As you can see, I got some of my information from this website. Take a museum field trip without leaving your classroom. I think that virtual museums and field trips are the best alternative for if your district does not approve of field trips, or it's just not in their budget. This is an awesome way to an awesome alternative to virtual field trips. To field trips. So you have science museums down here at the bottom. It actually gives you a few examples of museums that you could visit, natural history museums, and also art museums that you could visit and take your children on tours. The next website that I'm going to show you is pretty awesome as well. It's on virtuallytech.com, and it has 10 museums that offer virtual reality in the classroom. So these are also website. This is an awesome website as well that actually offers virtual museum tours. This very next link takes you to the actual tour, and these are both in my presentation, but I thought it would be neat for us to take a look at them. So, say for instance, like my example earlier, my lesson plan talks about students learning about fossils and of dinosaur fossils. And I mean, it has so much information, so many different tours that you can take your children on. And this is not all, but this is just a small piece of what they have or to offer. And if I click on it here, I'm sorry, my computer is running super slow today, but hopefully we can see inside the tour, inside the museum, and it's very, very awesome. It's like you're actually there. They have the option to zoom in. You can look at any of these fossils. Where they have cameras at, you can actually click on the camera, and it'll show you a up-close picture of what is shown in the exhibit. And that's some type of dinosaur fossil right here. And I think this is so awesome. Kids will fall in love with this. Okay, so like I said, this website, educationworld.com, is an awesome website for teachers and administrators, and also a trip to the National Museum of World History. Those two links are what I just showed you. And I have my reflection at the end of this. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this presentation as much as I enjoy researching it. Like I said, I believe that virtual field trips are the best alternative when it comes to if your district cannot take field trips. Virtual field trips and museums offer a whole lot over the internet. And so, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.